Good morning. I wanted to bring you an update on what we know about the ADA incident and how you can be protecting yourself, because one of the things that I'm concerned with, and several of the other cybersecurity people that I've spoken with are concerned with, is the downstream attacks that this type of attack can have. So what we know is that a new gang called the Black Basta, BASTA gang, has taken responsibility for this attack. And we know that they've taken responsibility because they've began leaking data to prove that they were the attackers and that they have information. Now, what this tells me, the fact that they have information or that they have data, is that they were in the system for quite a bit of time. We seem to think that once the malicious code enters the system, that 45 seconds later all of the files are locked, and that's not how this works anymore. What happens is they get into the system, they do reconnaissance because they want to know where your data is kept, what data you have, what type of facility they are in, and then they begin taking that information. So they can be in your system for days, weeks, even months. So it's important that we guard against these type of attacks. So, and again, my concern is the downstream attacks that can happen because of the type of information that the ADA had on so many, dentists as well as auxiliary people. So what you can be doing now is beware of targeted emails. Definitely targeted emails coming from the ADA, but also targeted emails that have to do with dentistry, possibly products. Never ever follow a link that is inside of an email, and never click on an attachment that is in an email, because those are the type of attachments, unless you know they're coming, because those are the type of emails that they will send out. They're trying to get into your system, and they're trying to get your administrative credentials. So one of the first things they do is they launch, part of the code has what we call a Trojan or a keylogger. What it does is it sits in your system and it monitors all of the keystrokes because they're looking for the administrative credentials. So be wary of any emails. Now's a great time to do some training with your staff on what a malicious email may look like, and make sure you document that training. Monitor your bank accounts. We all pay our dues and with credit cards, so there's a possibility for debit and credit cards to be compromised. So monitor your statements to make sure that is not that you're not a victim of that. Backup, backup, backup. The purpose of a backup is to get back up and running as quickly as possible, but unfortunately, a lot of times we're only backing up a very short period of time, and we're dependent upon one backup version. It's important to have multiple versions of backups in multiple locations. I have seen threat actors, I've seen hackers that they have completely deleted the entire cloud account so that the cloud backup was gone. I've seen hackers delete the entire on-site backup as well. Nothing is 100% secure. What is 100% secure is the backup that is not connected to the network. So if you can take a backup and pull it off of the network and secure it in a drawer or a locked closet, great. And we want to have versions of that. Again, they sit in the system for days, weeks, possibly months. And sometimes we have to go back several days, weeks, or months to get a backup that has not been corrupted. So multiple versions of backups, and test your backup. Ask your IT partner to go in and restore a couple of files to make sure that data is indeed being backed up. And then if you're remoting into your practice, make sure that you are using a VPN and not just remote desktop. There's a lot of free tools out there that allow hackers to see who's using remote desktop. That's why in 2020, when everyone went home, we saw an escalation of those types of attacks, because there's tools out there that say who's using those type of platforms. So if you are going to remote into your office, please make sure that you are using a VPN. Work with your IT partner to put in an encrypted VPN so that you can still function from home, but that you are able to protect your information. And speaking of homes, again, the ADA has a lot of home information, our personal information. So be aware of emails coming to your personal emails, as well as mail coming to your physical addresses, just because these are going to be very, very targeted attacks. We're seeing an increase of QR attacks, where here, click on this QR code and we'll send you information. So be very mindful of where you're clicking and what information you're giving out personally as well as business-wise. And unfortunately, there will be some infections that will happen. This is going to be a downstream ripple effect, domino effect. So if your practice is the victim of a ransomware, it is very, very important that you take the right steps. So often I see doctors, because you want to get back up and running as quickly as possible, and I understand it and I get that, but understand that these types of attacks are very, very sophisticated, and they know that they're going to require reporting. And if you haven't done what you need to do to report, then the fines and penalties on top of the emotion and the cost of going through these types of events is going to be huge. So because if you don't go through the 6 steps of HIPAA by doing a forensic investigation, then you are going to, it's going to look like you were trying to hide the attack. And in this day and age, there's no hiding the attack. In this day and age, what we want to do is we want to be ready for the attack. This is why the Safe Harbor was created. This is why I work with my clients to create, implement, and maintain a safe harbor, so that when these attacks happen, we meet that threshold, and we are able to say, here's our documentation, fines, penalties, audit times are reduced, and we can get back up and running as quickly as possible. But you do have a crime scene when you have an infection, so you want to contain it. The best way to contain it is to unplug from the internet completely, and then work with a cybersecurity consultant on navigating through the attorneys and forensic teams and restoration, because we don't want to just wipe with these type of infections. Drives, hardware may need to be replaced. There are a lot of different types of viruses that are out there. We need to determine exactly what type of virus you were hit with, so we can take the proper mediation steps. Nothing is worse than thinking you're in the all clear, and then there's residual code and it comes back and you're another target 6 months down the road. So we want to prevent against that. We want to prevent against having an attack, period. But when we do have an attack, we want to be ready. And that, again, is why we are so proactive on the Safe Harbor, getting our clients to be ready for the Safe Harbor and to be able to defend against an attack properly. I know that this is a lot of information, but it's all about keeping you safe. Security will bring compliance. You will fall into HIPAA compliance by default, because really what we're teaching you is best security practices, and they will allow you to fall into HIPAA compliance to meet those thresholds. So have a great day. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and my team. We are always available to help. And thank you. Have a great day.